Hi friends! My name is Caitlin. Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're all here today because today I'm going to talk about all the books that I would like to read in July. Now, some of these books I know I probably won't get to. I'll probably get to like 50 or 75% of them. I'm very much a mood reader, so sometimes some of these books in the moment I'm like, I'm not in the mood for like a fantasy or whatever. So I'll try my best. If any of these books sound really good to you, please, please, please consider buying books. Not consider, do it. Buy books from Black-owned bookstores. I have some links below of some great ones in the US. If you're looking for more international, just let me know. I can point you in the right direction. I have also put down some links below for you to take some action for Black Lives Matter, such as petitions, protests, raising money, etc. So please check that out. To begin with what I want to read this month, I'm going to start with some ARCs that I received from publishers that will be published in August and September. I have 4 ARCs. The first 4 are nonfiction books that I'm very excited about. The first one is Belabored by Lyz Lenz, and this is a look at pregnancy in our society today and how things need to change, how our mindset around pregnancy needs to change. The US actually has the highest maternal rate in developed countries in the world, which is completely unacceptable. And a lot of it obviously has to do with our healthcare system, but it also has to do with mentality surrounding reproductive rights. So we need to change that narrative. She looks into it and what we can actually do. So I'm very, very excited for that. That book is going to be published on August 11th. The next book I want to read is A Knock at Midnight by Brittany K. Barnett, and this is set to release on September 8th. Actually, all the rest of the ARCs that I have today are released on that day, so it's going to be a good day for books. This book is written by a lawyer who is looking at our justice system and looking at the criminalization of Black women and how corrupt the system is. She is a lawyer, so one of her first cases was a mother who received a life sentence in prison for her first drug charge. So she really explores the corruption in our judicial system and what we can do to completely transform it and fix it. The third nonfiction book that I would like to read also again comes out on September 8th, and that is Carrie by Toni Jensen. Let's just talk about this cover for a minute. I'm obsessed with it. This is kind of a prose collection, memoir, nonfiction book about what it's like growing up Indigenous in America, and she really explores violence, specifically gun violence in America. So I'm really interested to see the discussions about that in this book. The last ARC that I want to read this month is One by One by Ruth Ware. Again, that comes out September 8th. Ruth Ware is awesome. She's a great thriller novelist. I read Turn of the Key earlier this year. Sometime recently. I loved it. She's very moody, atmospheric writer, and so I'm very excited for this one because this one takes place in remote ski mountain retreat, and it's a company retreat, like a team building, activity, BS stuff, and no one can trust each other because they're all just co-workers. They don't really know each other, and then it sounds like they start dying and they need to figure out what's going on. So I'm very excited about that. Kind of going off of the isolationist thriller vibe is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This book, very similar. Both of these books give me Agatha Christie and Then There Were None vibes, which is one of my all-time favorites. But this book takes place on a deserted island. There's a New Year's Eve party. Murder happens. Everyone has a motive. No one knows what's going on. Super excited for just a good old-fashioned mystery book to escape from the world right now. The next book I want to read, I've actually started to read before, is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a huge, hefty book. I think it's actually 1,000 pages or something around those lines. This is a high fantasy with dragons, and I started reading it. I think I got 100 pages in, and I was loving it. I loved the characters, but then it was due at the library, and I just haven't picked it up again. But I'm planning to pick it up again this month, hopefully finish it, because I was enjoying it. and dragons are like all the rage right now, and I'm on board with that. The next book I want to read is The Deep by River Solomon. I believe this is actually a novella, but this is about female slaves that were thrown overboard. They become mermaids, and it's about their ancestors and the society that they've built, and it's about reclaiming their history and moving towards the future. And it just sounds brilliant in every single way, and I cannot wait to read it. Speaking of race, I want to read Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi, and I read his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, this month. Loved it. Love him. This is one of his earlier books exploring the history of racism in America and what we can do to combat it. Obviously, very important to read right now, / all the time, / next year, the year after that, until Black lives actually matter to our government. We need to be learning and growing and actually doing something to change this. So I'm very looking forward to learning more, taking more action with all of you. And the last book is very interesting. It's called The Half God of Rainfall by Inua Ellams. And from what I gather, I think this is told in like an epic poetry style, like the Iliad. Super intriguing. And it involves Greek gods, but also like Nigerian folklore, I think. And it's about female revenge. Really, that's all I needed to know that I wanted to read this book, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So those are all the books, not all the books, those are some of the books that I really want to get to in July. Also happening in July is the Reading Rush, which is happening from the 20th to the 26th, I believe, and I will be making a whole separate TBR for that on top of this one. Maybe some of the books will overlap. We'll see where I'm at the 20th, see how many of these books that I've actually tackled. I'm very excited. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, if you want to read any of these with me, we can be buddies, or if you want to just hang. Also, what are you reading this month? Tell me everything. Let me know. Again, I really want to emphasize that there's a lot of action that needs to happen today, tomorrow, the next year, the year after that, to end racism, to end this systemic disease that is in this world right now. And if you want to take those steps to make that happen, please start below with the links that I provided. If you have any questions, please come to me. I'm always down to chat very openly and honestly about racism. Thank you so much for coming to my little corner of YouTube, and I hope to see you soon. Mwah.